Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I ordered the bike.
Okay.
The problem is it's not going to be here until like the week of the 8th.
Okay.
The cool thing is that they said, oh hey, it's not going to be here till the week of the 8th. So why don't you just hang on to that Bronson that you got right now?
What?
I'm actually on my way to the Path bike shop. I just want a place that's going to give me good service. We'll have an update on this in a week or so. I'll be gone, but when we get back to pick up the bike and then go for a ride. Maybe we'll even like rent a bike for Kelly and see her test out a couple more full suspension bikes. Okay, so here's the update on finding a good mountain bike shop. If this tells you anything about how I'm feeling about the Path, I just laid down a bunch of money for a new bike for Kelly. So yeah, we're married now, me and the Path bike shop. Yeah, I'm gonna generally avoid getting into specifics about issues I had with my local bike shop, and I'll just concentrate more on the positive stuff that I've been experiencing at the Path. And generalize that out to just what I think a good bike shop or good mountain bike shop should be, how it should be. And really it's pretty basic. It's just generally what any good niche or core business or core shop is gonna offer you, whether that's skateboarding, snowboarding, mountain biking, whatever it is. Just basically principles over personality. Getting the basics, getting the fundamentals done right first, and then be cool after that. You know, my initial dealings with the Path, when I took my Recluse in, the tech that handled my bike, he just handled it professionally. He picked it up. He really knew how to handle a bike. And maybe that sounds weird, but I feel like if you take your bike in and you tell them what's up and they just like write up a ticket, that's kind of like the doctor that walks into the room, looks at the chart, never really looks at you, doesn't really talk to you, and just prescribes you some drugs and then leaves. It's not very confidence inspiring. The guy handled it, diagnosed it really quickly, was able to tell what it needed, what it didn't need. There were things that I thought like, oh, it needs the shock needs to be serviced, but he was like, your shock is fine. But then also detected some other things that were an issue with the bike that I didn't necessarily know about. And I have to say, when I got my bike back, the suspension felt great.
So plush.
And you know, that just might be due to the fact that I hadn't serviced it for, you know, the entire year that I've been riding it. Although I will say, I will trust the Path with working on my suspension. Having a shop where you can depend on their work. I didn't feel like the person picking up my bike and putting it on the stand was a kid that had just been like sweeping up a week before and then knew how to change a tube, and so they put an apron on him. I felt like these people were qualified and knew what they were doing. They also under-promised and over-delivered. I think that's key. They said it was going to take N number of days. They delivered in N-2 days. They said it was going to cost N number of dollars. They delivered at N-100, over $100. You know, under budget and ahead of schedule, which is freaking crazy. Another thing is just having people that are not just in the industry but know the industry and are involved in the industry, involved in the community. I think that's really important, and I feel that way with the Path in particular, but having a shop that's just generally knowledgeable. You know, like when I asked Kim about like what's specific about the Juliana suspension tuning, she could talk about when she was at the Santa Cruz HQ and got their information on it. And then there was a gentleman there whose name I don't know. He was able to talk to me about the specific technical things that they do different with the suspension, and I thought that was really great, and they were willing to take the time to do that. And I think just, you know, at its base, just getting it. Get what it is to be a mountain bike shop and what a mountain biker is about, and what we're interested in, and being able to talk to us on that level. So I don't know if that, I mean, that's pretty like soft, I think, description of what a good mountain bike shop is, but this is me, this is what I'm looking for. I would rather have a bike shop be really good at what they do and professional about what they do and be neutral with their personality. If we have good personality to go with that, that's awesome. But you know, I think, was it, here, we're gonna look it up real quick. Who was it? Alex and Ron 3000, you guys were talking about your relationships with bike shops, and I think Ron 3000, you talked about how like your shop is like Cheers, and they just get you and they know your name, and you walk in and everybody says hey, and they do good work for you, and I think that's awesome. I'm stoked for you. I had experience with my local bike shop where it was like a nightmare Cheers, where, you know, everybody was cool and friendly, but you would order a beer and get a jar of pickle juice. So they had a lot of personality and everything was cool, but the fundamentals weren't there. My dynamic with the Path was relatively neutral starting out, but they were professional, they were proficient, and they did what they said they were gonna do, and they did it well. So I'm digging it. Good note on this thing, I don't know if you can see it, the bike that's in the back, it's in there because I'm borrowing it and I don't want it to be on the back of my car on the 91 and have something crazy happen. But I laid down the money and got Kelly a Bronson, and because it's going to take a couple of weeks for that thing to come in, they're letting us borrow this bike at no extra cost or anything until that thing comes in. And you know, a note on that, you know, we talked with Kim down there. She was able to talk to us about, like, you know, why maybe a Bronson would be just as good, if not better, than getting a 5010. We'd originally gone down there to rent the 5010. They didn't have the 5010 in small. They had the Bronson in small, and you know, Kim basically opened my eyes to the fact that there's really nothing wrong with getting a bigger bike for a lady. Like, what's wrong with that? Kelly loved the Bronson and it came recommended. Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked on that. So we'll be seeing some more some more jumping Kelly. Freaking awesome. All right, I gotta get back to town before the traffic gets stupid. It's a Friday and traffic gets stupid in Southern California. I dig it.